Dan, take it away. Thank you, Elena. That was beautiful. I'm giving you the floor here, Dan.
Whenever the truth comes out, how do you hide the truth? You come out with counter narratives that muddies the water. So the people who haven't spent time, over decades researching this, looking at the authenticated classified documents, looking at all the witness testimonies, a person who doesn't have the background to pull from, they're easily swayed. Oh, they don't know, what's what, and so it effectively works. So, well, I put together a slide presentation just yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to actually do a dry run with it. But should I go ahead and enter into that?
Absolutely, yes, indeed.
All right. I hope nobody has copyrighted this term. Okay, here we go.
Are we seeing a slideshow? Are you going to be showing something on your screen?
Yes, I'm accessing it right now. Okay, hopefully no one else has got this term. Okay, can you see that?
Yes, yes, yes. Carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, this is planetary liberation style. All right. As we talked earlier about the power of imagination, since we are, as Elena said, we're all creative beings. We're all fractals of source. That's the one thing they're incredibly afraid of, is that we use our collective powers to create the reality that we want to see. So I invite everybody to imagine this. Situation on Earth. The year is 2024, and the planet Earth, having been technologically and psychologically hijacked for many decades by a cabal of dark criminal elements using psychological warfare, has at long last begun its process of liberation from the deceptions perpetrated upon the people of this planet. The people of the planet have been deceived and divided against each other due to the cabal's centralized control of the information in the media. So a plan was made. Fortunately, benevolent elements within our military a long time ago realized these treasonous elements would continue to perpetrate its dark agenda unless intervened against, and so a plan was made. The problem with implementing the plan was that due to the dark cabal's control of the media, it had weaponized the public's perceptions so that any military action would be viewed as an illegal, hostile force against the people, rather than liberating them from the dark cabal's control. Because the media had been weaponized, the full truth of the situation could not be exposed. Alternative media outlets on the internet, like yours, Sacha, outside the cabal's control, helped greatly a certain percentage of critical thinking of the population that sensed something was not quite right. While still the rest of the population could not and would not believe that their trusted media sources have been infiltrated and controlled to have them support a cabal's agenda that is ultimately being used against them. Anyone who questioned the media's narrative would be labeled as a baseless conspiracy theorist and an extremist spreading dangerous disinformation, which is #1 on their list. You can't tell the people about this. You have to show them. The benevolent elements within the military realize that unless the people were united in understanding what has been perpetrated upon them, that no action against the criminals of humanity would be able to happen without their consent and approval of the majority of the people. So it was decided to allow the cabal to continue forward on its agenda and allow those who once trusted the media to see with their own eyes the cabal's hidden agenda being exposed for all to see. A turning point occurred where the cabal no longer was attempting to be secret with its plans against humanity. They were exposed in their plans to dramatically reduce the population to a smaller, more controllable slave force, which they could then control by controlling their food supply. Once they became obvious to a greater percentage of the population, their false propaganda on their controlled media outlets became more and more transparent to the people. The tipping point to this was to use the rule of law. At this tipping point in this war against humanity, the military, using the rule of law as previously established by the Law of War Manual, had accumulated substantial, unequivocal evidence against these criminals of humanity. But first, before the roundup of them to be brought before an international criminal court, the public needed to be fully informed to gather their consent to these criminals being tried for their crimes. So, this first had to seize the media. To circumvent the cabal's interference with the control of the mainstream media and the internet, the United States Marines were deployed to secure the corporate facilities from interfering with a historic public service broadcast on all media outlets. Seizure of the media. The online news media, radio, and social media services were also seized. Utilizing the emergency alert system, which provided communication capability to address the nation during a national emergency, it required all radio and television broadcasters, cable TV, wireless cable systems, satellite operators to provide capability to address the people during a national emergency. This effectively bypassed the mainstream media's controlled news to all U.S. citizens. A period of public enlightenment. During this time, a state of national emergency was declared, and martial law was put in place. Normal television programming was interrupted for 8 hours a day for 10 days, revealing to the public the history of this cabal and their criminal plans they had for humanity, showing incontrovertible proof of their crimes. The world unites. The world, becoming aware that they have been deceived and played by the criminals of humanity, now united in recognizing its true enemy and to bring justice and liberation of our planet. With all the criminals of humanity identified and apprehended, the International Criminal Court trials were televised to the world, as each criminal was brought forth and appropriately sentenced for their crimes against humanity. The world celebrates. Now, with the criminals of the cabal no longer in places of power and influence, massive changes were now allowed to happen in a benevolent way for all of the people of Earth. Across the planet, there is great joy and celebration for the liberation of Earth from these dark forces against humanity. The Great Reset begins. Now, after decades of secrecy and deception perpetrated upon the people of Earth, with the people now fully aware of the cabal's nefarious plans they had for them, are grateful for their liberation from these dark elements, which will now allow the world to catch up and bring forth the world that has been taken from them for many decades. So now the world enters into a great reset in a way that benefits all the people of Earth, rather than enslaving them as the cabal had planned. Advanced technologies released. The Invention Secrecy Act that had been suppressing thousands of inventions since the 1950s are now able to be released to benefit humanity. Electrical power. Zero-point energy systems now replace obsolete, dangerous, polluting sources of nuclear, oil, and coal, as nuclear and coal power plants are decommissioned to be retrofitted with clean, non-polluting zero-point energy plants to power all of the homes and businesses that are connected to the power grid. While the people are still connected to the power grid, mass robot manufacturing of small, compact zero-point energy generators are being produced by the millions, so that every home and business can disconnect from the grid independently in a decentralized manner. Eventually, every home and business was disconnected from the grid, which allowed removal and recycling of all the ugly transmission lines strung across the planet. Transportation. The internal combustion engines, which will be phased out, could be with a simple modification made to run on hydrogen from water, eliminating the need for gasoline and pollution during the transition. Electric vehicles could have their storage batteries replaced with onboard zero-point energy generators, which run indefinitely the electric motor and never needs to be recharged. New generation vehicles are not only self-powered, but do not require wheels and tires, as anti-gravity technologies allow these vehicles to go where there are no roads. Transportation. The airline industry is now utilizing the anti-gravity technology to transport humans from one place on the planet to another, not hours, but in minutes. Space travel to other planets and the hub outside of Jupiter is now a reality in interacting with other galactic cultures in our galaxy. Teleportation is also another option to move from one location to another instantaneously. Communications. A new quantum communication system utilizing the principles of quantum entanglement replaces the distance-limited and biologically harmful electromagnetic communication systems. The obsolete cell phone towers across the planet are being dismantled. Internet. The new quantum internet allows practically instantaneous, secure access to greater data from any location. The obsolete transmissions over Wi-Fi and fiber optic cable is replaced. Financial. A new quantum financial system replaces our easily corruptible monetary system that has been used by the cabal to control the world. All bank accounts of citizens are transitions out of control of the corrupt banking system into the control of the people. Medical. The corrupt medical and pharmaceutical corporations that operate for profit are totally replaced with the release of advanced holographic medical technologies, alleviating all suffering from sickness and disease. Lifespans can now be realized into the hundreds of years. Overpopulation is not a concern, with remote areas now able to be habitable, as well as off-planet colony locations. The basic needs of food, water, shelter, and clothing are now available to everyone. Food is now abundant and healthy and is no longer being weaponized for a eugenics agenda. Contact with other worlds. For many decades, the cabal has denied the existence of extraterrestrial contact to the people, and the fact that the Germans, working with the corporations of the military-industrial complex, had developed anti-gravity craft that was used in their secret space program and had infiltrated to control our perceptions through the information systems and space agency to hide that reality. While our US Navy developed its own secret space program and entered into an alliance with benevolent off-planet cultures of the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Our planet, now liberated from the dark criminal elements as well as their regressive extraterrestrial overlords that Elena mentioned, can now no longer detrimentally affect the billions of lives on Earth ever again. This allows our planet to evolve peacefully, and therefore being governed by a benevolent planetary council permits our world to join the Galactic Federation of Worlds and allows the people of Earth to benefit from the knowledge and wisdom of cultures thousands of years in evolution. Looking back at the past challenges, children now studying through a vast library depository of knowledge are looking back through history at the tremendous challenges that the people of Earth face that has brought them to today's world. Gratitude for the new world. The people vowed to never allow this to ever happen again to their beloved planet and are filled with gratitude for all those who contributed in the past to reset the path to the beautiful new world they now experience. End of story. Ta-da!
Wow, brilliant. Sorry, there I am catching up on production notes there. Beautiful. Thank you so very much indeed.